Tonight, New Mexico authorities with tragic revelations to a week-long mystery, saying Gene Hackman died of heart disease and complications from Alzheimer's, likely a week after his wife Betsy died of the rare, deadly disease hantavirus.
Mr. Gene Hackman, aged 95 years, is hypertensive and atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, with Alzheimer's disease as a significant contributory factor.
The grand halls of Hollywood once echoed with his voice, a presence so powerful it could command a room with a single word. Gene Hackman, a titan of cinema, a man whose name was etched in the annals of film history. But now, silence. A silence so deep, it swallowed an entire legacy. Santa Fe, New Mexico, a quiet home, standing still beneath the desert sky, hiding within its walls, a tragic discovery. The world awoke to the news Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, had been found lifeless in their residence. A man who once lit up the silver screen now lay in darkness, his story coming to an abrupt and sorrowful end. The sheriff's department arrived swiftly, their questions sharp, their eyes scanning every detail. There was no immediate sign of foul play, no struggle, no violence, just an eerie stillness. The bodies were discovered by a maintenance worker, someone who had grown concerned after weeks.
Many questions remain about how the 95-year-old actor, his wife Betsy Arakawa, and one of their dogs died in their Santa Fe home.
Without a word from the couple, he had stepped inside expecting to see life as usual, but instead he found history frozen in time. Gene Hackman, 95 years old, had spent decades away from the flashing lights of Hollywood, choosing the quiet solitude of Santa Fe since the 1980s. A two-time Academy Award winner, he had shaped the golden era of cinema. His roles as Detective Jimmy Doyle in The French Connection, Sheriff Little Bill Daggett in Unforgiven, and the unforgettable Lex Luthor had cemented his place among legends. But now his final act played out in mystery. His wife, Betsy, a talented classical pianist, was found in the bathroom, beside an open prescription bottle and a space heater humming softly in the background. Hackman himself lay in another part of the house, his body at rest, as if he had merely drifted into another realm. No wounds, no carbon monoxide, no gas leaks, only questions lingering in the air. Authorities searched for answers. Medical reports confirmed no signs of external harm. An interrogation of Hackman's pacemaker revealed nothing unusual. Had it been natural causes? A tragic coincidence? Or was there something unseen, something yet to be uncovered? The world watched, waiting for clarity, yet all they received was uncertainty. The life of a man who had given so much to the world ended not with applause, but with whispers of speculation. Perhaps that's the irony of life. Even the greatest storytellers never get to write their final chapter. Gene Hackman, a legend, now a memory. And as Hollywood mourns, one thing remains certain. His story, his presence, his legacy will never fade. The world knew him as a Hollywood legend, a man whose name echoed through generations of cinema lovers. Gene Hackman, a two-time Academy Award winner, had left behind a legacy of unforgettable performances. But on a quiet afternoon in Santa Fe, New Mexico, his final act was discovered not on the silver screen, but within the walls of his own home. The news spread like wildfire. Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, were found lifeless in their house, along with their beloved dog.
So many questions ever since Hackman and his wife were found dead in their New Mexico home. Authorities have been working around the clock to recreate a timeline leading up to their deaths.
A home once filled with music and memories had now become the center of an unfolding mystery. Investigators, once cautious with their words, now whispered suspicious. It was a phrase that sent shivers down the spine, for death often wears the mask of coincidence. Yet something about this case demanded closer examination. Santa Fe County deputies arrived at the scene, their eyes scanning for clues. The front door was slightly open, a small detail, but one that left them uneasy. There were no signs of forced entry, no shattered glass or broken locks. It was as if the house had simply swallowed its inhabitants into silence. As officers stepped inside, the air was thick with an eerie stillness. To the left of the entrance, an open bathroom door revealed the first tragic sight. Betsy Arakawa lay lifeless on the ground, her body showing clear signs of decomposition. A prescription bottle, its cap removed, lay nearby with scattered pills on the counter. The details were unsettling: bloating on her face, mummification in her hands and feet. Time had been unkind, erasing the last traces of warmth from her once vibrant existence. Further inside, Gene Hackman was found in a similar state. The man who once commanded the screen with his powerful presence now lay in eternal rest, his body telling the same grim story as his wife's. No struggle, no signs of injury, just a quiet departure, shrouded in mystery. Authorities combed through the scene, searching for answers hidden in the stillness. The absence of forced entry suggested no outside intrusion. Analyzing Hackman's pacemaker provided no unexpected readings. The possibility of carbon monoxide poisoning was ruled out. Yet, despite the lack of apparent foul play, detectives couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. Tributes poured in from across the world. Fellow actors, directors, and fans mourned the loss of a cinematic icon. Legendary director Francis Ford Coppola shared his grief, calling Hackman a great actor, inspiring and magnificent in his work. Hollywood had lost one of its brightest stars, but the circumstances surrounding his passing left a lingering unease. Speculation grew as the investigation deepened. How could two people simply vanish from life without a clear cause? Had illness crept upon them both at the same time? Had loneliness in their secluded home led to unseen struggles? Or was there something more, something that would take time to uncover? Gene Hackman had spent decades away from the flashing cameras, choosing the quiet life in Santa Fe. Yet, even in his final moments, he remained in the spotlight. His name once again at the center of a story, only this time it was one filled with questions instead of scripted lines. As the world waits for answers, one truth remains.
For many years, but we'd never worked together. And he was in a mood at that time. He says, I don't want to do any more violent pictures. I'm tired of it. I've been involved with a lot of them. He says, I'm really tired of it.
Hackman was not just an actor, he was a storyteller, a master of his craft. And now, in a twist of fate, his own story has become one of Hollywood's most haunting mysteries. The curtains may have closed on his life, but his legacy will forever shine, etched in film history, remembered by those who admired him and whispered about in the corridors of speculation. The world watched in shock as the news broke Hollywood legend Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, were found lifeless in their Santa Fe home. A place once filled with memories now stood silent, holding within its walls a mystery that puzzled investigators. Santa Fe County deputies arrived at the scene, their minds filled with questions. The front door was slightly ajar, as if inviting them into a story yet to be told. Inside, they found no signs of forced entry, no shattered glass, no overturned furniture. Only an eerie stillness, as if time itself had frozen in that very moment. In the bathroom, they made their first heartbreaking discovery. Betsy Arakawa lay motionless, her body showing unmistakable signs of decomposition. Near her, an open prescription bottle rested on the countertop, pills scattered beside it. A small dog, lifeless, was found inside a closet nearby. Yet strangely, two other dogs were alive, one roaming freely, the other near Betsy's body, as if unwilling to leave her side. As the deputies moved further inside, they found Gene Hackman, a man who had once commanded the big screen with his powerful presence, now lay still, his final moments shrouded in mystery. Both he and his wife appeared to have fallen suddenly, yet there were no visible wounds, no signs of struggle. The scene was hauntingly peaceful, almost too quiet. Speculation grew. Had they been poisoned? Had an unseen force taken them both in the stillness of the night? Investigators considered every possibility: accidental overdose, carbon monoxide poisoning, even a double homicide. Yet initial checks revealed no toxic fumes, no gas leaks, nothing to suggest an external cause. The home was searched thoroughly, but no answers emerged. Santa Fe County Sheriff Mendoza confirmed that an autopsy would be conducted, hoping to uncover the truth hidden within the stillness. The investigation remained ongoing.
And Miss Arakawa and their dog at the residence. I just want to do a short recap and then touch on some new information.
And authorities worked alongside the New Mexico Gas Company to rule out any unseen dangers. Yet the question lingered: how could two people, seemingly healthy, be taken so suddenly? without a trace of violence or struggle. Tributes poured in from around the world. Fellow actors, directors, and fans mourned the loss of a cinematic giant. Gene Hackman, at 95, had long stepped away from the limelight, choosing a quiet life in Santa Fe. But even in his final moments, his name remained at the center of a mystery worthy of the films he once starred in. Francis Ford Coppola, the legendary director, shared his sorrow, calling Hackman a great actor, inspiring and magnificent in his work. Others echoed the sentiment, remembering his unforgettable roles: Detective Jimmy Doyle in The French Connection, Sheriff Little Bill Daggett in Unforgiven, and the cunning Lex Luthor in the Superman films. As the investigation continued, the world waited for answers. Had fate simply taken its course? Or was there a hidden truth yet to be revealed? The silence in that Santa Fe home spoke volumes, yet it kept its secrets well. Hackman, a storyteller of unmatched brilliance, had left behind a final mystery, one that no script could ever predict. His legacy remains, shining bright in the history of cinema. But his final act, shrouded in uncertainty, lingers in the air like an unfinished story, waiting to be told. The world is still searching for answers in the mysterious passing of Hollywood legend Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa. What began as a quiet life in a secluded Santa Fe home has now become the center of a case filled with uncertainty. Authorities have now deemed their deaths as suspicious, pointing to unsettling details that only deepen the mystery. Investigators have confirmed that both Hackman and his wife showed signs of mummification, suggesting they had been deceased for an extended period before being discovered. Initial fears of carbon monoxide poisoning were quickly dismissed after tests found no traces of the deadly gas in their home or bodies. This ruling forced authorities to look elsewhere for answers, leading them to Hackman's pacemaker, a device that may hold the key to understanding his final moments. According to medical data, the last recorded event from Hackman's pacemaker was on February 17, 2025. This crucial timestamp suggests that he may have passed away around that time, possibly days before the couple was found.
An initial interrogation was conducted of Mr. Hackman's pacemaker. This revealed that his last event was recorded on February 17, 2025. I was advised that a more thorough investigation will be completed.
With no signs of forced entry, no visible wounds, and no apparent struggle, detectives are left with more questions than answers. Their home was in a private, gated community about 10 minutes from downtown Santa Fe, a place chosen for its quiet seclusion. They lived away from the constant buzz of Hollywood, enjoying a peaceful retirement. And yet, that very privacy may have kept their fate hidden for longer than anyone could have imagined. If not for a welfare check, who knows how much more time would have passed before they were found? Speculation has run wild, with theories ranging from natural causes to something far more sinister. Could it have been a silent medical event that took them both, one after the other? Or did something else lurk just beyond the reach of forensic certainty? The discovery of their lifeless bodies raised even more troubling questions. One of their dogs was found dead near Betsy's body, while two others remained alive on the property. What happened inside that home during those final days? And why did only one pet succumb to whatever force claimed their owners? As tributes pour in from fans and colleagues, the mystery only seems to grow. Hollywood's greats have spoken out, remembering Hackman for his unparalleled talent and commanding presence. He was a force in cinema, from his Oscar-winning roles in The French Connection and Unforgiven to his unforgettable performance as Lex Luthor in the Superman films. Now, his final chapter is being written not on the big screen, but in the corridors of investigation. Sheriff Mendoza and his team continue to sift through evidence, searching for the truth. Toxicology reports and medical records may hold the missing pieces, but until those results come in, the world is left waiting, wondering what happened in the last days of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa. Was it a tragic coincidence? A medical mystery? Or is there something more to the story, something that, for now, remains just out of reach? The answers may come with time, but one thing is certain. Gene Hackman's legacy will never be defined by this mystery. His impact on Hollywood and storytelling will live on, even as the details of his final days remain clouded in uncertainty. The mystery surrounding the final days of Hollywood icon Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, continues to deepen. Investigators are working tirelessly to piece together what happened in their secluded Santa Fe home. Hackman was found lying on the floor in the mudroom, his sunglasses and cane resting nearby. The scene suggested that he had fallen suddenly, yet a pathologist confirmed that neither he nor Betsy had any visible external injuries. Betsy was discovered in the bathroom, with pills scattered across the countertop. A warrant revealed that the medications found in the home included Tylenol, thyroid medicine, and high blood pressure medication, none of which are typically linked to overdoses. Adding to the confusion, a dog was found lifeless in a kennel near Betsy's body, while 2 other dogs roamed freely through the house. This unsettling detail only raises more questions. What happened in those final days, and why did only one of the pets succumb? The 911 call that led to their discovery came from a contractor who had worked with Hackman for years. In a heartfelt tribute, he expressed disbelief that he had spent time working alongside such a legend. He thanked Hackman for his kindness and humility, recalling how the actor had treated his employees as equals. He also spoke fondly of Betsy, appreciating her generosity, love for dogs, and the advice she had given over the years. Authorities have confirmed that there were no security cameras inside or outside the home, making it even more difficult to determine what transpired in their last moments. It's a tragic Iron Hackman had once spoken in an interview about leaving Hollywood to escape stress, choosing Santa Fe for peace and privacy. He and Betsy had seemingly found exactly that, right until the end. The case remains full of uncertainties. Investigators are carefully analyzing every detail, yet the full picture is still blurred. With no clear cause of death, no sign of forced entry, and no witnesses, the truth remains just out of reach. Was it simply natural causes? A tragic accident? Or is there more to the story? Fans and colleagues continue to mourn the loss of the legendary actor, known for his unforgettable performances in The French Connection, Unforgiven, and Superman. As the investigation unfolds, one thing is certain: Gene Hackman's impact on cinema will never fade, even as the mystery of his final days lingers. The case of Hollywood legend Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy remains shrouded in mystery. Investigators continue to uncover details that only add to the growing list of questions. Initially, it was reported that all doors and windows in their home were sealed, but now a discrepancy has surfaced. One of the doors may have been slightly open. This inconsistency has led authorities to scrutinize every detail with even more urgency. Experts believe that labeling the case as suspicious from the start has allowed law enforcement to obtain necessary search warrants and conduct thorough interviews. In a Friday news conference, which lasted about 20 minutes, the sheriff was questioned about a planner that was taken as evidence from the Hackman home. However, he refused to confirm whether it contained any scheduled events beyond the day of their passing. The possibility of a planned meeting or visit remains uncertain, and nothing has been ruled out yet. One of the first things investigators addressed was the theory of carbon monoxide poisoning, which could have posed a risk to anyone entering the house. However, tests ruled out toxic gas as a cause. With that possibility eliminated, the investigation has now turned towards other potential explanations. There are many theories regarding how the events unfolded. Some suggest that Hackman may have collapsed first, followed by his wife later in the bathroom. However, investigators are considering multiple factors. Were the lights switched on or off? Was the coffee pot still warm? Had they slept in their bed? Did they miss any doctor's appointments or routine activities? Did their dog try to escape its crate? All these small details help construct a timeline of their final moments. Authorities also examined medications found at the scene, including high blood pressure and thyroid pills. None of these drugs are typically associated with overdoses, yet the presence of scattered pills on the bathroom counter raises questions. Additionally, while one of their dogs was found deceased, 2 others were discovered roaming the house freely, adding another piece to the puzzle. One crucial factor in the investigation is Gene Hackman's pacemaker. Medical records indicate that his last recorded event was on February 17, 2025, which may provide a clue about the timeline of his passing. However, pinpointing an exact time of death remains challenging. With several days having passed before their bodies were found, determining whether they died on the same day or separately is proving to be a difficult task. Further forensic analysis will be essential. Investigators will examine stomach contents to determine their last meal. Was it breakfast, dinner, or something else? Did they eat together or hours apart? The lack of contact with the outside world complicates matters even more, as they lived a reclusive lifestyle with minimal social interactions. Despite all these clues, the truth remains elusive. The authorities continue to piece together what happened in the final days of Gene Hackman and his wife, but many questions remain unanswered. As more evidence comes to light, the world watches and waits, hoping for closure in a case that has captivated many.